A lot of you have asked for a detailed explanation of how Settlement Aptitude works, so we put together this demo video to show you exactly the methodology behind the application. So the application is up on the screen right now. What I'm going to do is tap the icon for Settlement Aptitude and open the app. And once the app is open, then I'm able to go in and create a new case by hitting the plus sign at the top right-hand corner. At this stage, I'm just going to enter in the name of the case, and once I do that, I hit the Done button, and it shows us the next stage that we're going to do, which is to create the first variation. So we're going to call this first variation 1-at-mediation, and then we're going to start entering the specific amounts that are involved. The first amount that we're going to enter, and right next to the word minimum, is the lowest offer that's given by the defendant in the case, and then maximum would be the highest demand that's given by the plaintiff in the case. Once we're done with that, we're going to go forward and add in some deposition costs, medical costs, as well as some other costs like filing fees and other expenses that you incur in getting the case off the ground. And then we can add in the attorney's fees. That can be done by percentage or by hitting the dollar button and putting a fixed cost in. You can also subtract the attorney's fees either before or after expenses, depending on what your agreement is. Once you do that, then you can hit the View Results button at the bottom right-hand corner of the page and see the results. Here, what we can see is that if the case settles for roughly $100,000, the plaintiff will get about $49,000 in his or her pocket. But that's not the end of the conversation. So we're going to slide the first variation to the left and duplicate it and create another variation. And once we do that, then we can continue to add in the second scenario that we're going to talk about. And we're going to call that after mediation. And then once that's set up, then we can go ahead and simply add in the additional numbers that will be incurred if the case goes forward. So we start adding in the additional numbers into our mix, and we see that the discovery cost is going to go up to $4,000, and experts are going to go up to, let's say, $40,000. Once we get those numbers in place, then we can view the results again and look at how those numbers impact the bottom line for the plaintiff, and see that now the case will have to be settled at over $160,000 in order for the plaintiff to take home the amount that's available at the mediation. So we're going to duplicate that result again by sliding the after mediation slot to the left and duplicating the result and going in and setting up yet another variation, which is going to be called 3-before trial. So once that's set up, then we're going to go in and add some additional costs that we're going to incur as we go forward closer to trial to see how those numbers impact the bottom line and how they change what would have gone into the plaintiff's pocket had she settled at the mediation. So once you do that, then you do the same process again, and you add in the attorney's fees, and we're going to increase those to 40% because the case is now set for trial and closer to trial. And then we view the results, and when we look at the results again, the number for settlement has now gone up to $270,000 for the plaintiff to take home the $50,000 in his or her pocket. Again, we're going to slide that variation to the left and duplicate it and create a fourth and last variation, which we're going to call at verdict. And once we add in those numbers, we're going to take a look again to see how those numbers play out in terms of money in plaintiff's pocket if he or she were to continue to trial and try the case to verdict. As you'll see, when we look at it, the numbers and we put in all the expenses that are going to be incurred going forward to trial and obtaining a verdict, that number becomes significantly higher in terms of what verdict plaintiff would have to obtain in order to end up with the same amount of money in his or her pocket. What this is doing is providing you with the big picture that you're going to need to see in order to properly assess the case, whether you're on the plaintiff or on the defense side. And as we look at it, the number here now has gone up to close to $340,000 for the plaintiff to recover the same amount of money that's available to her at the mediation. And of course, this is very important because we don't want the plaintiff to turn down a number that's being presented at the mediation when in fact accepting that number could be the best decision that he or she could make for the case. Once we're done with the case, we hit the done button, and then we can essentially favorite the case by sliding it to the right and then sliding it back to the left and creating a PDF. Now, how we do this is by hitting the export to PDF button, and that then creates a PDF that you can export to another application. You can email it to yourself or to your client for the file, and you can paper the file if that's what you choose to do. Now, what I'm going to do is to open the PDF in PDF Expert, and now we have it in a separate application that where we can work with it, either marking it up or signing it or doing whatever else that needs to be done on it. So there it is. That's how Settlement Aptitude works. And the reason it's effective is because it gives you a tremendous amount of data that you did not have access to previously, and it allows you to make a big picture decision effectively and in an efficient way. And of course, if you're paying thousands of dollars to go to mediation, why not have this tool to assist you in making a much more informed decision during that process? If you have any questions, feel free to contact us at our website at settlementaptitude.com. Thank you.